Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Cynical Marketers. Thank you for joining us. Episode 58. This is season 2, episode 8 already into this season, so we're rolling right along. This week, we'll get right to it. Amazon and shenanigans from Amazon again.
AI shenanigans.
Famous for it. So Nada came across this account on Instagram, this small creator, and she owns a small business, and she found this interesting stuff going on with products that being sold on Amazon. She's like, I don't sell my products on Amazon. And it's really interesting what was happening here. I have a video from her. We'll play for everybody here. This is her second video because she reached out to Shopify. So she was curious if this was only happening to Shopify people, which it seems that it was from this video. So let's check out this creator. Nada, what was her name? It's at Kaylin, right?
Kaylin. She is Weird and Fun Acrylic Jewelry by Kaylin Vencura. I think I'm saying her last name correctly. I don't know.
Okay.
But she seems lovely.
When I posted about Amazon listing small makers' products without their knowledge, some of you noticed that most of those affected had Shopify websites, and a few people said that we must have agreed to this when we signed up. So I decided to ask Shopify. I contacted support and explained the situation of my Shopify listings being on Amazon despite not linking my site there. After checking, the rep said that my products were taken from Google search and it is expected behavior with SEO. I responded that I and many of my peers did not feel that having our products scraped and put on Amazon was expected behavior, and that it seemed to be an issue specifically with those of us using Shopify, whereas makers using Squarespace, for example, were not experiencing this expected behavior. At this point, the representative said that essentially Shopify is created for good SEO and that it makes it very easy for Google to digest our products. Then I asked for the link to the terms and conditions to be sent to me so that I could review them with a lawyer. The rep responded, and I quote, "I want to clarify that this is not a backdoor or secret partnership between Shopify and Amazon. Amazon is acting independently by utilizing publicly available data from the web." After concluding my chat, I reviewed the terms and conditions. I'm not a lawyer, so I may be wrong, but I was unable to find anything in the terms that stated that we should expect that our products would be shared without our consent on any other sites. What do you think?
And I was blown away. So I saw a couple of her videos the first one that led to this one, which is where she discovers that her jewelry products are listed on Amazon, and she has never agreed or never purposefully went to Amazon to list her product there. And so I did some digging, Mike, to find out how that would happen, because she did call out Shopify, and Shopify does not have this in their terms and conditions. So in fact, they are correct that Amazon is acting on their own and using their AI tools. So Amazon said that they've rolled out this new AI-powered shopping feature, and it's twofold. There's something called Shop Direct, and then there's something called Buy for Me. Shop Direct is what she was referring to, which is where she saw her own products listed on Amazon, and then they are listed so that you could actually click on a product and go to her website to purchase them, right? Which she was not aware was a listing on Amazon. Amazon then also has that coupled with a Buy for Me feature, which is basically their AI agent will use your data that you have stored within Amazon. So like your name, your payment information, your address, they will use that and take that data, go to her website, and make it a purchase. So to her, on her end, it would appear as if that customer, like if I had actually gone to her website and bought that, but there's actually a middleman, which is Amazon, right? And that's the Amazon AI agents. And so I did some digging on this, and we talked about it before we started recording. It is happening to different brands that are all using different platforms. So Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, BigCommerce. The thing that Amazon is seemingly looking for is very popular brands. So I don't know, Mike, it feels like maybe they're looking at, social media content and who is trending, because a lot of these creators have, their businesses and they're promoting their businesses and have audiences. Then they're looking, then somehow they're pairing that with whatever, they're able to scrape off, like she said, off of Google search to present those products within their own Amazon platform. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon has been accused of this in the past, and I don't know, so we're not going to make the accusations. We'll say this is what Amazon has been accused of for smaller brands who sell on their platform. Amazon, of course, has all the data and then just looks for popular ones and then will just recreate that product and sell it under their own
Yep.
label.
Yeah.
So you sell on Amazon, you're handing all your data over to Amazon. This was always one of my problems that I would tell clients and people, like, when you sell on Amazon, you're just an affiliate of Amazon, really. You're not a brand or anything there. You have no brand. You're an affiliate of Amazon, and they own all of your data. Mm-hmm. They own it all.
Yep.
So yeah, you might be able to get some good sales there, but you don't really own anything. And you're just handing that info off. You have no relationship with the customer, nothing. So is that what's happening here? I think it's strange, right? Like, if you're a shopper, you have Amazon acting on your behalf. And I guess ChatGPT is looking at doing something like this too, agentic shopping. Meta announced something as well. You're going to hand over your payment info to these AI tools to go out and buy products for you and shop and enter your payment info on other platforms for you. Like, I don't know. Like, look, I get it that change is for the young and stuff like that. And so they're like, yeah, whatever, hand your payment info off. I'm like, I don't know. I've been around since the very beginning of the internet. Like, you don't hand that stuff out. It gets leaked all the time. You try to be very secure with this stuff. I could not imagine having a third party.
Yep.
AI. Why would you trust it?
What's interesting to me is we work with small businesses, right? So we've encountered our clients' products replicated on Amazon, right? Like, our clients don't sell on Amazon. It's not something that we advise. I think, again, there's a lot of mixed rhetoric on this, but I think it works maybe for some huge businesses who are trying to liquidate a bunch of stuff. I think for small businesses, I think like you and I are super aligned on this. We've always been about build your brand and get people keep your customer, right? Don't let Amazon have your customer. Amazon is doing this, and their whole thing is, but we're doing small businesses a favor because we're letting people discover your product, and then they're going to buy from you, and that increases your increment. There's an incremental increase there, and that's kind of how they're selling this, right? Amazon has an amazing marketing team. And their marketing team is doing work on this, right? They're making this about the benefit to the small brand. The problem though here to me is consent, right? So they're scraping this data off of Google, as Shopify said, to list products that aren't theirs, that they have no consent to list. Google Shopping, by the way, for those who don't deal with it often, a lot of the times has very outdated stuff. Prices are not updated. Sales points change. They don't update. Products go out of stock. They don't update. So what is potentially being listed out there for your brand may not even be the most current stuff that you have, right? And so for me, it just comes down to okay, but if I'm a small business and I am choosing to opt into this service with Amazon, then great, do all the things, right? But this is another thing that we've talked about with AI and all the things that Meta has done and ChatGPT OpenAI has done of stealing other people's data, right? Like stealing writing books and books and books from millions of authors and, to train their AI to do these things. This is the equivalent of that to me. They're stealing information from small businesses, from small creators. And you know what they're going to do eventually? That's great, small business, blah, 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 that you want to list your stuff with us and we're going to show you incremental sales. We're going to replicate this product. And because we're Amazon, we're going to produce it for pennies on the dollar. And then we're going to sell the same thing you're selling, but way cheaper. And then we're going to list that thing and your thing on our website. And guess what the customer is going to buy? That's where the unethical thing comes in. Of course, Amazon is not the most ethical on the planet. But, if you're a small business, you should be worried about this. I just feel like it's not don't think that Amazon is doing you favors.
Amazon is never doing anyone any favors.
No, they're
right?
not.
Nobody's doing.
They're using
Nobody
all of
gets
this.
rich
Yeah.
doing favors. You know?
They're using.
I have found this in the last several years, working with CEOs and some bigger businesses, that nobody who has gotten to be successful and big is nice, really.
No, and they're not going to do anything for you out of the goodness of their heart. You know, Amazon isn't going to advertise your product for no reason at no cost. You know, they're trying.
Yeah, it used to be a thing years ago, right? That all these tech companies were forces of good, and Google used to have that tagline of theirs of like, "Do no evil" or "Don't be evil," something like that, right? Until they like, hey, we can make a lot of money in China, so we're gonna go into China, and we're gonna get rid of that tagline. You know,
until they were like, "Oh, we can make a lot of money from being evil."
Yeah. Well, apparently, there's a lot of money in it. So, you know, the tech guys used to all have that granola crunchiness vibe about them, right? And now they're not. Now they're all Bond villains. All of them. You know, they're all Bond villains, and it's just about the most money, squeeze all the profit you can, screw everybody, your employees, everyone, you know.
So bad, yeah.
I know. So, and again, you know, we're small. We just kind of bounce along, and we've talked about this. Like, we've worked with people where we're like, I don't get it. And you're like, I guess, I don't know. How can I'm not pointing a finger, because they make a lot more money than we do. I can sleep at night, but
right.
I don't know.
I mean,
I guess I'm not a sociopath.
I was going to say, I think you have to have some certain characteristics to operate in that type of mindset. I really just think like, we know the stats here. 2 Black Fridays, we've reviewed Black Friday data twice now, right? Like as part of this podcast. And we've told you guys over and over again, bulk of Amazon's success on these big sales events, Prime Days, Black Fridays, comes from small business sales. And you as a small business are letting Amazon continue to make money. If you are a small business, and we have a client, for example, who's a, small to medium sized business, I guess you would say, based on revenue. If you look up his brand name on Amazon, products will come up that duplicate his products that are not his. He doesn't sell on Amazon. It isn't part of this shop direct or buy for me program that Amazon has rolled out, right? It is just other folks straight up stealing, infringing on his copyright, on his logo, literally on his brand, and selling cheap replicas of his product. And so, we already know that is happening. For creators are complaining about it all the time. Temu does it, Amazon does it, all the different marketplaces, Walmart, Target, they all do it because they have vendors who are from overseas who are stealing designs from small businesses and reproducing those products for cheap. And the goal of Amazon, you cannot convince me differently, is to do exactly this while pretending that they're advocating for small businesses.
Right.
You know, because they're going to say, but people search everything on Amazon. They do price comparisons on Amazon. They're acting as if they are a search engine for all things shopping, right? And maybe that's how most consumers behave. I don't, but I don't know, maybe they do, and it's just like, how do you, and there's no way to opt out of this mess either. That's the thing. Like, that's what that woman was trying to do. And she has no way to opt out.
Yeah. And consumers don't know. They don't care. People vote with their pocketbook, and whatever they say with the words out of their mouth online to virtue signal rarely will match, because you're not, I can go and post about I stand with the current thing.
Right.
But you don't look at my Amazon order history. You can't see that. You only see that I have the appropriate logos and stuff on my social media profiles. I'm supporting all the right current things,
right?
But I'm still going to go shop at Amazon. You don't know that because, hey, look, man, it's cheaper, right? Like, oh, I'm poor and I have to find the deals. People will always vote with their pocketbooks in reality.
And
very rare for people to really hold it up. That's why boycotts don't really work. They're rare to really have an impact because most people are going to do what is best for them financially when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I mean, that was, and even with Target, right? Like last year, everybody was all about boycotting Target at the beginning of the year due to the DEI stuff. And then when they reported their Q4, you know, I mean, by Q4, everybody had forgotten why they were boycotting Target.
Right.
So I think you are definitely, you are definitely right on, Mike. Like we don't, people were so anti-Amazon for all of these things we just talked about right now, all of the things we talked about in our previous episodes. But yet, biggest Black Friday, Cyber Monday any retailer has ever had, right? So, and again, $20 or under for average AOV, so look at, if you're a small business, you struggle to compete with that. And then Amazon just straight up enters your house, right?
Yeah.
They're now scraping things and showing your product without your consent. I think that is where my biggest issue is, right? Like they are not asking businesses to opt into this. Now, if you're a business that you are like, this is great, I want this. I don't have financial ability to list on Amazon and to compete with listings on Amazon. But if Amazon wants to show my product, fine, I'm all in for that, right? Some businesses will be excited about it. Great. But you should have a way to opt in, because for those businesses, and if it is scraping Google and, I believe that what Shopify gave as a response is probably accurate. Right? Because Shopify, when you search, and especially if you go into the shopping side of Google, things that you search, most stores that you link to are Shopify stores, right?
Yeah.
Shopify, is the number one e-commerce platform.
So Shopify doesn't care about,
but they're like, hey, we don't have a backdoor deal with these guys, but we can't stop them from doing this either. Right? So that's basically what their answer was. Like, no, this isn't something that we authorized, but we can't stop them from doing this. It's, I don't know, Mike.
Nobody will care, can do anything. It's only small businesses that are going to get screwed. So no one will care. There's not any news about it. We didn't even know about it, right? You stumbled on this.
Yes.
And that video that we played is 4 weeks old. So this happened last month.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was going on.
I didn't either.
No news.
So there's, nobody
in the media is going to cover this. It's not an interesting enough story because it's only small business people getting screwed. So no one cares.
Yeah, they very quietly rolled this out. I tried, in prep for this episode, I tried to really dig through to see if other creators were talking about it, other business owners, and this woman seems really lovely and she has a very nice jewelry store, and I can only imagine that to her as a small business, it's almost a violation. Like I would feel, if I were in her shoes, I would feel extremely violated. Like I did not consent to this, right? And this is why, we always talk about the importance of building your brand and keeping your customer on your platforms. This is why. But it's like, even if you try to do that, which is what she's seemingly doing, she's a small business. She has, I think 12 or 13,000 folks following her. She does really beautiful, custom jewelry, but and it's fun. And, she obviously, you saw in her video, it kind of reflects her personality and everything, but it's what is she to do? Right? She's a small business. She's not a huge business. She doesn't have resources to fight this, and most other businesses that are being impacted by this probably don't even know that they're being impacted by this.
Who owns your relationship? So you make this purchase and Amazon says that they use their customers' stored information, right? Mm-hmm. And then they send it through. So to the provider, it looks like any other e-commerce order, but Correct. It was actually Amazon who sent that info, right?
Right.
So now let's say I ship product to customer and it's wrong size or something happened in transit, mm-hmm. Thing broke. What happens? Who owns that? Who does the customer go to complain to say, hey, something is wrong here, I need a remedy? Who owns that now?
Right.
Does Amazon tell them no, that's not on us, my friend?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if you're going to go through Amazon will take a cut. Amazon's not doing it for free, right?
They have to.
The business side's not paying the percentage like they normally would if you're listing on Amazon, I bet.
Yeah.
But there might be a small convenience fee, right?
Yeah.
Added on to that bill.
Something. There has to be.
Yeah, Amazon's not doing it for.
Yeah, it's either
to make their customers happy. They're not doing that.
It's either a fee, Mike, or they're using, and I don't know, I couldn't find anything about that either, because I was like, why would they do this? Besides them collecting shopper behavior data and then being able to replicate these products to sell for cheaper, I cannot figure out why they would do this. It has to do, I think, there's been a lot of talk of like them being basically like the one store people go to, right? Like there's been a lot of that conversation. That, they're this like mega store and you can buy everything on Amazon, groceries, all the things, right? I think right now they're doing this to train their AIs because they're going to, on the back end, replicate these products and profit off of them. It has to be that, because right now I couldn't figure out if they are charging a fee or not. And I don't shop on Amazon, so I didn't even want to bother like trying to recreate this and purchase something just to see what happens, right? Although I am curious, but I did like look up our clients and made sure that they didn't pop up in this mess, It's interesting to me. Like, I think they're just at this point, again, using this data to train their AI, and what the consumers want and what they're going to replicate and how they're going to compete against these small businesses for the revenue. Ultimately, I think I would imagine, Mike, like within months, they're going to steal enough data to really be an actual competition to all these businesses. I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah, it's never going to be for good. I'll tell you that. Never for good. And I know people are like, well, you're a public business, so do you have, and yes, I should have the right to determine where my products are going to be sold at, right? Like business owners get to make that choice and say, no, I want to work with these people. I don't want to work with these ones for whatever reason.
Right.
Maybe this lady here whose video we played, she doesn't want to work with Amazon.
Right.
And has made that specific choice. And Amazon's like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. You don't get to have that consumers so it's never for good.
No.
And again, consumers just, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
Get me the cheapest thing you can.
And
that's all they want. Very rarely.
Yeah.
And that's why on Amazon, right, it'll show you, unless you're going to be on Amazon and you want to do the pay to play, right, where you can push your rankings up. I don't know. Sad days.
If you're a small business, you should be aware of this. If you're a small business
selling e-commerce products, take a look, see if it's impacting you.
Right.
Keep an eye out for this.
I don't know there doesn't seem to be anything you can do about it, by the way.
Yeah, there doesn't really.
But keep an eye on it anyway, Yeah.
All right, there you have it, everybody. Thank you. Another thrilling episode of the Cynical Marketers. We just keep doing it week after week, I know,
it's been fun.
For fans by the several.
It's been fun. I mean, I've quite enjoyed this. I think, season 2, episode 6 is what we're on right now, which is wild. I just like saying season 2.
I know. It's crazy. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Subscribe if you made it this far. That would be helpful. Maybe click a like or leave a comment, I don't know. We're supposed to ask for that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do something. We're kind of cynical, so I don't know. Do it if you want. Whatevs. We'll be back. We're going to keep doing it.
Yep.
In spite of your lack of love, we will be back again next week, everybody, with another hot episode. We'll see ya.
Bye, guys.